institution that is closest to the people, and they certainly have not carried the ball. So people probably are a little more angry with them because of that closeness than they are with the president. But I mean, everybody is getting hit by this because there were clear things that had to be done. The Democrats had the power, President Obama had the power, and it was not done. So there's an awful lot of anger, which is being expressed in the polls.
One of the major fights of almost comic proportions in the U.S. Congress has almost always been the issue of a permanent war. Today, Afghanistan. Tomorrow, Iraq. The day after, Libya, Syria, followed by countless wars. With Democrats almost always posing anti-war, pro-people. Republicans posing simply pro-troops. Let's support our troops. Let's fund them. That is, Democrats almost always funded every single war and signed off on every single war bill. And if you go to Center for Responsive Politics, you find out that the Democrats all along, even during the Iraq War, when they sounded pretty much against the war, they had huge vested interests in that war, the war machine, the war profiteering business. That simply explains the democratic nature of U.S. governments and the elected officials of we the people. That is, almost 2/3 of the electorate have always been dead set against U.S. wars.
War is just another big government program driven by special interests, and money is certainly a very big factor in the decision, the entire defense industry. And they've spread out the wealth and put defense contractors and military bases in probably all of the states, if not very close to all of the states. So just about every congressman and U.S. senator has a stake in keeping defense spending high because they're bringing home the bacon, as they say, by funding contractors and military bases in their states. And that was certainly true in Massachusetts, where you had 100% Democrats in Congress and U.S. Senate, and even the late Senator Ted Kennedy, who voted against the Iraqi war, was one of the first to lobby to keep all the military bases open in Massachusetts and to keep money flowing to the defense contractors in Massachusetts. So there really is virtually no difference between the Democrats and the Republicans when it comes to just about any big government program, and that includes war, where they have consistently voted for war. Now, again, they often line up in blocks and will oppose a war just because the other political party is in power at the moment, but they'll support that very same war when their own party member is in the presidency or in a position of power. That's the game that they're playing.
A new day, a new fight on the Hill. From budget to debt ceiling to war in supporting our sons and daughters. But how real are the partisan fights between Dems and Reps? And how different are they really?
There are no real differences between the Democrats and Republicans in terms of the way they vote and the special interests that they pander to. Really what they're doing is lining up in teams, much like a football game. You know, they're playing the same game, they're just wearing different jerseys. They will get behind, for example, the Republicans railed relentlessly against Hillary Clinton in the 90s because of her Hillary Care plan. Then these same Republicans in my former home state of Massachusetts, when Mitt Romney proposed virtually the exact same thing, Romney Care in Massachusetts, they had nothing to say about it. No opposition whatsoever. Then a Democrat comes along, Obama, and proposes virtually the same program again, only with his name on it. And they rail and protest. So they'll fight bills, they'll line up in blocks and fight when it isn't their guy who's advocating a particular bill, but they'll oppose it if it's the other team. It's really just a matter of team playing and posturing, and for the many people who support Democrats and Republicans, it's about getting jobs in government.
At this point, the American people are absolutely disgusted with Congress. According to the latest polls, the approval rating for Congress is sitting at around 10%. PublicPolicyPolling.com puts Congress's approval rating somewhere below cockroaches, traffic jams, and Nickelback in Americans' esteem. Public Policy Polling's latest poll finds that Congress only has a 9% favorability rating, with 85% of voters viewing it in a negative light.
We've never had a Congress or a system of representative government by the people. We have it of the people and for the people, but on election day, our power is given away to elected officials who have raised money from special interests to fund their campaigns. And so after they get elected, they're responsible to the people who put the money up to get them here. The last election in the United States, the presidential and congressional elections, cost more than $4 billion. Now, where did all that money come from? It came from the special interest who wanted to influence the policies of the Congress. And you see two examples of it. Here we just had this week a vote on gun control. Now here, 80% of the American people would like to have background checks so that we could make sure that the guns that we have are in the hands of responsible people. Well, that failed in the Congress. 80% of the people want this, and the Senate was not able to enact it into law because of the special interests of the gun lobbies, the manufacturing, and also the NRA. So that's just one example. There are other examples. You remember when we had Obamacare passed to Congress. 70% of the American people wanted single-payer health care. It never even was offered as an option within the Congress. So when you get instances like that, where the will of the people is flaunted arrogantly by Congress, the president, and the corporate elites, then the people lose confidence in their government, in their society. Where it will lead, I don't know, but I'm not very optimistic.
U.S. Congress is supposed to represent the proverbial we, the people, the bottom 99%. On September 17, 2011, thousands and thousands of Americans broke their silence, pouring into the streets across the country, asking for their voices to be heard. For 1.5 years, they went on facing batons and arrests by the police. Not a word from U.S. Congress. Not a word from the representatives who actually represent the top 1%. Well, thank you for watching. Always follow the money trail with me, Amir Arfan.